It's time to go. Welcome.
Welcome, everyone, to Elevation Call this evening. Lisa Bell Henson and Hal
Henson.
And we're excited that you guys are joining us this evening. And we have a special call planned for you guys. And you're going to get to hear some wonderful voices tonight. So first, I just want Hal to kind of review our kind of standard way that we open the call with a review of both of our top 20 list.
Yes. So we celebrate and recognize the accomplishments and growth, I guess, or investment in business that Zalise recognizes. So out here in the field, we recognize you guys and different people for enrollments of anywhere from wholesale customers to business builders and packages. And by the way, this month's a really good one to be adding business builders for a lot of reasons. But we celebrate the top leaderboard, top 25 leaderboard for enrollments first. And at number 19, thanks to the wholesale customer that joined our team, you're at number 19, or we are, Hal and Lisa. And then Shelly Johnstone. So Arkansas is kind of dominating the leaderboard right now.
That's right.
Shelly's at number 9.
Arkansas and Latin America.
Yeah, Arkansas and Latin America. Anyway, and then on personal volume, that means orders purchased this month, either for yourself, for retail, for vendor shows, whatever it is you're kind of loading up on product on the front end. We have at number 13, Joy Lynn Klein out of Missouri. I'm assuming she's still in Missouri. Yeah. I think so. And then Steve and Jenny Todd are number 1. So you guys have spent the most money, Steve and Jenny Todd, in all of Zalise in the first month in getting products on the front end. So congratulations.
Retail investment.
That's right.
That's awesome.
That's pretty cool that you're like at some point the number 1 spender was Zalise in the beginning of the month.
Well, it really is, because we know what they're doing with that
That's
product.
Right. They're doing a lot of very specific things. Anyway, so it's really good what they're doing.
In fact, I'd just be curious with Steve on. Steve, what is the products that you move the most through your office?
Good question, Lisa. That's a good question. Yeah. Being a sleep practice, I move R&R, Dream, and Glow.
Gotcha.
Okay. R&R, Dream, and Glow. Well, that makes sense. 100%. So
Not much coffee.
Not much coffee.
Not much coffee.
Not yet. You'll find a way. Knowing you guys, you'll find a way.
Yeah, actually, I tell you, we can talk about that later about Dream and what's going to happen to that. So
Sounds good.
Don't forget, because we want to come back to that.
He won't forget.
Well, listen, guys, we have a couple of topics that we want to cover, and then we're going to bring some of our top leaders to the call who went through the Phoenix Mastermind weekend in Dallas last weekend.
Saturday.
It's hard to believe that. Mm-hmm. And
seems like a month ago.
I was going to have Hal kind of set that up, just because the Phoenix Mastermind Summit really came from a direct conversation that Hal and I had with Stephen Thompson. So Hal, do you mind just kind of setting that up and sharing a little bit more about that?
Yeah, just to kind of keep it brief. It's pretty typical for us to meet with Stephen at some point early in the year or at the end of the year to talk about the goals for the year. So we had a call set up with him via Zoom in early January to just do kind of the typical, what we thought was going to be a typical Stephen Thompson, kind of the numbers, the 90-day game plan and so forth. And we were prepared to do our goal setting, which we talk about regularly and even speak daily. But we also were prepared to, what I would say, maybe address some needs from the field that we have not just seen, but we've lived, and there are reoccurring themes in the field that we wanted to address with Stephen from our leadership position to him as the CEO. And so what we started as what we thought was going to be a 30-minute conversation turned into 2.5-hour Zoom call with Stephen, in which he was very receptive to some of the things that we suggested and we talked about. He was so into it, he had to take a potty break and ask us to hold, and he'll come back, which is pretty cool, that he wanted to continue the conversation. But one of the takeaways is that we suggested that he really needed to hear from the field, and he really needed to hear us in a corporate voice, like all together. And I don't mean like a corporate side, but the field speaking together as one. And we suggested putting together some meeting, probably in Dallas, where leaders from the field could come together and all as one have more than just an hour weekly call together. And he liked the idea. And then 2 days later, he liked it so well, he created this Phoenix conference, mastermind conference, and it kind of expanded it from the presidential and national level into the regional and area. He wanted to bring in new leaders from the field. And so we had about 60 people there, which was pretty good for a last minute meeting. And it was an all day event, and it was really good. I don't want to pump up the event because I really want to hear from the people that were there from our team. But it was really because of us saying to Stephen, we really feel like you need to listen more to the field. Do 80% listening and 20% talking. He made progress toward that, you might say. He didn't exactly do the 80-20, but he probably maybe did 50-50 or 40-60 or something like that. But it was not all Stephen promoting. He was listening. So anyway, that was my perspective, and that's how it's set up. So we invited some of the people tonight who were there on Saturday, some of the leaders you guys know, some of your leaders, team leaders in the field, to share a little bit about their takeaway from the weekend. And hopefully it'll be encouraging to you and make us aware of some things.
And I also wanted just to say that, just got a shout out for the leadership, Stephen, Jenny, Todd, Susan and Brian Welch, Mary Ellen and Roger Ziliak and Patty Bug, because they invested time and capital and really gave of themselves. And it's my goal that our team members always feel seen and heard. And that's one of the reasons we have this call.
It was a working weekend, and I want y'all to know that. It was honoring for Stephen to invite in areas and regionals and anyone really to come in. It was honoring to them, but these people worked. It was an intense weekend of conversation and open sharing and listening and just really working together to try to make things better in the future. And so anyway,
I wanted to turn it over. Jenny, I'm so glad to see you too. But I want to turn it over to Steve and Jenny first, just takeaways from the Phoenix conference.
Go ahead, honey.
There you go. Well, I have something to say, but I'll let you
go. Well, I think just reflecting back on that meeting, it was a lot of X's and O's, I guess you could say, learning the back office part of things that could be fixed and made better, that's the least, and how big a ominous job it is for a CEO to run a company and make sure all the parts and pieces are running right and everything's clicking, which is a big, big task. And it's easy for a company to, have this or that not work right. So with that being said, I think that what I took away from it is that, you can talk about these X's and O's all you want about this business, but honestly, the biggest part is just talking to people about this business, sharing a plan with them, showing the opportunity to people, talking about not so much about the products as much as just, how they do the best job they can in supporting us. But on the bottom line is we have to get out and talk to people, us included. We have to sell product. It's up to us to do that. And Zalise can't do that for you. They can do everything else, but they can't do that. So, and they're trying to fix their end of it, which I think is great. There's nothing really broke. I mean, it just needs to be modified and run. It's like any company. And I think kudos to Stephen for listening and just wanting to make it better and listen to, and y'all to create that type of meeting where we're all talking about business and all that. But bottom line is we still collectively as a group have to get out, talk to people about it, show a plan, sell product, and do all the basics to move volume. Because in essence, that's what businesses do. And all the other stuff's just filler, I guess you could say. And that meeting was about a lot of filler, a lot of things that, people here complaining about a stopper being full or a piece of rubber is broken or something. I mean, okay, fine. So I think that we energized ourselves. We came home and we said, we've got to get out and do more. contacting more ways to be creative, to meet with people, and we're going to do that this year. So we're laying a game plan for that, and it also taught me that I don't want to be known from Zalise as being a regional ambassador. That's not my ultimate goal here. It's not shouldn't be your goal to be a area or anything else. It should be whatever at a big rank. So I think from that meeting we just took away. There's a lot we can do to grow as people, and the company in itself is doing its darndest to do its part of it. And I'm grateful that they are. And I'm grateful for you guys, and also the other leaders there. Susan and Brian were there. They took their time. Mary Ellen and Roger took their time. Patty was there.
Laura McClendon.
Yeah, everybody. There were a lot. Everybody took their time and money to really come and see what it was about. But also, once we understood what it was about, what is it that we can? What is it you want to contribute to that meeting? And then not only do you want to contribute, what can you take away from it? And so I just took away that we have a lot of work to do, but a lot of fun work. It's not, I don't ever look at Zalise as being guys a burden or something I got to do or make $1 with over here, or sell a bottle with over here. It's collectively, how do you meet people, engage with them, and transition them to using Zalise products in some way or another, So that's what I did.
Okay, so now for the Pollyanna side, okay, because I'm the Pollyanna of this. And this is one of the things that I just love about Zalise. I'd first like to thank Hal and Lisa for planting this seed in Stephen's brain, to get people together. And I think for Stephen to invite the rest of us, it was just he respects our opinion. And at that meeting that day, they valued what we had to say. We each had time with a microphone and just spoke from our heart, why Zalise, and everyone just shared their feelings. And you just got a feeling of how the Zalise front office values us. And they wanted to hear from us. And then also all these leaders, you just become part of a team. And what a great, great feeling, because the rough, mean old world out there isn't that way. And I just love being around the leaders and hugging people, and this is a wonderful, wonderful company that we are part of. And I'm just so honored and privileged to have been there that weekend. And just, this company is amazing, and I just can't wait to see what's going to happen in the future. So thank you.
Awesome. Fantastic. And you guys had a couple of team members, so that I don't know if they're on the call, but tell us about who you had with you there.
Well, Brian and Susan Welch.
Welch were there.
You got to spend a weekend with them. My goodness. They're
Brian's a jewel. I love being around Brian.
They're a lot of fun. And then Laura McClendon out of Tyler, Texas. She was there. Fabulous retailer. It just made you so proud to have, people on your team there. And again, just collectively, everybody just becoming closer and just respecting each other. Just great weekend. Thank you, Lisa and Hal.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. And if Laura or the Welches are on, or if they have anything they want to contribute, we'll just, I don't think they're on yet, but we'll come back.
Okay.
Cool. Thank you, guys. And then, let's switch over to Mary Ellen and Roger Ziliak. Mary Ellen, can you hear us?
Hey, Lisa, Brian and Susan are here. I see them on the call.
Okay. Well, let's, since we just mentioned Brian and Susan, you guys have a minute to share a takeaway.
Oh, wait, there we go. That's not Brian and Susan.
That's okay. There's Roger and Mary Ellen.
Let's go with them.
We're back.
Yeah, go ahead, Roger and Mary Ellen, then we'll go into the Welches.
Okay. We're having technical difficulties in the middle of a storm in Indiana, but I'll start with the weekend was a mixed bag for me, but what I left with was a feeling of empowerment and ownership that I didn't quite expect. So like I said, going in, yeah, it was a mixed bag. There were positives, there were negatives, and sometimes I felt them extremely, but I think that kind of talking about corporate issues, the degree of what you're talking about, they're powerful topics. So the emotions with them, I felt all gun ho are like, whoa, wait a minute. So I had both extremes. But I think the number one thing going into Saturday's morning session was I felt privileged because I thought, here I am in an area, and I felt like it was a first for areas and regionals to be at a corporate meeting and to share topics equally in a room together. So I felt very privileged. And bringing up issues like, I had a concern, just an example about the confusion sometimes I felt, customers felt, the team with the lot number on the bottom of a bottle. We found out who that fell under. We had the discussion. We came up with some solutions to the problem. And it was so wonderful to be able to have that discussion with the people who can make those decisions and leave with solutions.
I think the storm got them.
Can anybody else hear us?
We can hear you, but I tell you, it is pouring down rain here.
Yeah.
And I don't live that far from them.
Okay, well,
I can hear you too. Same thing here.
Okay, gotcha. Well,
I can hear you. We can hear you.
Okay.
it's rainy and windy here too, but I didn't know if it was us or them.
No, it's them.
Okay,
Yeah,
gotcha.
Yeah, it's them.
We'll come back to them. So I think we mentioned Susan and Brian Welch. Susan and Brian, are you guys there?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, hey, look at there.
Look at there. Good looking couple there. So takeaways, Brian and Susan.
You go. Me? Yeah. Okay. Well, for everybody on the call, I'm not even an area she is. I just kind of help her with the thing. So for me to be there, I was kind of the odd man out. So I sat and listened as much as I could. I guess I'll give it to everybody straight from my take on it. There were some things that I just sat there basically throwing my hand up going, I have no idea why we're talking about this. It just didn't seem like it was deeply important to have the number of intelligent people in the room, what we were discussing. But your team leaders there actually kind of grabbed the bull by the horns and said, hey, we kind of need to get organized. And the second half of the day was extremely organized. A lot of things went on the board. Whether they come to fruition is yet to be seen, I think. I think some of them have started, but whether we see them come to fruition. And just so everybody knows what I'm talking about, not talking in circles, things we brought up to them: difficulty in signing someone up, difficulty in using the app, requesting simplification and all that stuff, requesting simplification of finding things in the back office. This is what we brought up to corporate, just simple things to simplify our process to sign somebody up. Yeah, they discussed some of the little things about bottles and that. Well, I guess I have to agree with Dr. Steve. We ain't gonna fix everything. We tried to bring up the things that we saw as difficulty with us. And the number one thing we said was, we just need some stuff simplified if you can do it. They took that. We'll see where they go from there. That's kind of my biggest takeaway was Hal and Lisa. I mean, everybody always, we always blow sunshine up everybody around here, but they really did. They walked up in front of the whole room and said, hey, we got this. If nobody else is going to do it, but talk about silly stuff. So everybody on this call needs to understand that they did that and got everybody on board with them and did some real organization, in my opinion. Whether corporate changes that, we will wait and see. I think some of the stuff will change for the better. But simplification was one of the biggest things. Another thing that I brought up, but Hal had already brought it up. I'm like late to the game with them. They're way ahead of us. But was the need for the company to have some type of, I don't want to say goal. How would you say it? How
Mission
a
statement.
mission statement. You know, everybody says, you know, we're the ultra company. Well, we also have, now we have coffee, we have this, we have coffee, we have skincare, we have CBD. Do we still talk about CBD? Are we only selling coffee? Does Glow work? Does Glow not work? How do we do? A lot of that was discussed as well. And we kind of want to brought to corporate, give us a mission statement that everything will fall under. And basically to help organize as additional, because they're going to keep growing. Steven's one of these people that can't sit still. If he sees something working, he'll find something better. It's just, and that's not a bad thing. Trust me, it's a pretty good thing. So I'm kind of rambling. I apologize. But to simplify it, you've got two leaders that stood up the second half of the day. I'll be honest, first half of the day to me was a bunch of people rambling, and I ate donuts and drank coffee and laughed at some things. But the second half of the day, Hal and Lisa stood up there and fixed it, organized it. And what we told them from our standpoint, a low level area, is we would like to see some things simplified. Simplification for us to sign people up, both wholesale or as a customer. Anything to add there, sweetheart?
You did a good job.
I really went for the sole purpose I got to make out with her with no kids, but
we knew why you were there, Brian Welch. You didn't have to tell us. We knew. Really proud of you guys. Really grateful that you were there. Loved our dinner with everyone on Friday night, the ones that were there early. And so
it was awesome. Thank you for sharing, Brian. And I think Patty Bug is standing by. So let me have Patty share a few of her thoughts as well.
Sure. I guess I went there with not really much expectations. You know, I was just excited to get to rub shoulders with other leaders in the company because, you know, I so admire every leader that has built it to the level that you all have. And like I said, I guess I just didn't really go with much expectations other than just to, you know, just to be with people and just to be able to meet some of the people in my group and, you know, put a face to the names and stuff. That was just a really amazing weekend or amazing day for me in that respect. But I think because I went in with thinking this is a brainstorming session and I don't have any idea where I got that, but I just thought, you know, and I've been in many brainstorming sessions in real estate through the years. And, you know, it's just kind of, you just throwing ideas out there. And what I like so much about the atmosphere is that nobody shot anybody down, you know, because when we throw things out there sometime, you know, you're like, well, maybe that'll work. Maybe that won't work. And that's just what you're doing. You're just throwing ideas out there. And I listened intently to everyone's because, you know, everyone is an independent contractor in the Zalease business. You know, you have your business within the business. We have a corporate sponsor that backs us up, but we are all independent contractors and we all run our business a little bit differently, you know, and because, you know, some people are more in the retail, some people are more in this, you know, building the business. Some people are just, you know, wanting to get wholesale customers. So it was really good to be in a room of people that could gel. And I feel like that we had the grace, you know, and the openness from the company to speak what we felt. And I felt that I didn't feel like we were inhibited in any way. And you just don't get that opportunity very much to be, you know, with corporate leaders, CEO, and the people in the field at corporate, just where you can just, you know, share. And I thought it was amazing to be able to do that. And yeah, probably to some people it was, you know, I'm sure a little, maybe not organized as maybe what they thought it should be, but I kind of run off the cuff anyway. So, you know, that just, like I said, we're just all independent contractors. And I just love being able to meet some people in my group and just to hang out with everybody and, you know, just to have dinner. That was an amazing dinner that night. And just, I just thought it was a blast.
Fantastic, Patty. Well, thanks to everybody for sharing.
Yeah,
and
I think Roger and Mary Ellen, are they gone? Because they didn't really get to
maybe they're swept
finish.
Away by the rains at Z Lake.
We're back, but we had to go incognito with no video.
That's fine.
That's all right. I don't think I don't know if you were had completed it, Mary Ellen, and we didn't hear from Roger yet.
Yeah, I pretty much said what I wanted to say. Why don't you finish up your thoughts?
Hang on. Yes. Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we're getting a lot of feedback. Mary Ellen, the only way we could do this, Mary Ellen and I each on our phone, and I think we're getting feedback back and forth. Yes, I you know, as Mary Ellen said, it was a little bit of a mixed bag. We weren't sure what we were getting, you know, coming down far. But I think the biggest thing I took away with it was the strength of team. You know, to me, the best part of the weekend, honestly, was the small breakout sessions we had with your team, because we have such strengths on this team. You know, between everyone that was there, it was so empowering to be able to share our thoughts, and really picked up several ideas just how to present this business, because it is a business. And as Mary Ellen said, both of us came away feeling much stronger about the business. You know, what started out as a negative, you know, that I've heard from some is, well, it really is our business. This is not Stephen Thompson's business. This is Hal and Lisa. This is Roger and Mary Ellen. This is Jean and Marina's. Each individual, we have our own business. Yes, we work together, but it's up to us whether this business, you know, rises or falls. Zalise, without a doubt, has one of the top products, but unless we work it as our business, it's not going to work for us. And that was the biggest thing that I took away.
Excellent, Roger.
That's great.
And that's, you know, honestly, Roger, I'd have to ditto that myself. You know, I was very empowered because I'd never really thought about the differences between Zalise corporate and those of us in the field. And so being able to delineate whose responsibility is social media, whose responsibility is marketing. And those are clearly now under our direct responsibility in the field. And so Hal and I have really started planning, and we've already talked a little bit about some of the things we're planning. We might come back to that, but definitely we have a responsibility for our own business, and that's a great takeaway. And so do you want to add anything to that, Hal?
Well, yeah. I love how unified our, you know, I want to call you team, but I also want to break you out individually. You know, each individual was there listening with their own ears, and everyone was there with their own voice. And then you had the Ziliacs together, and then you had Brian and Susan, and you had the Todds, and you had us, and we were all in the same room, and we all were hearing some of the same things, seeing the same things, but together we're working through this together. And when I say working through this, one of the real big takeaways that Lisa mentioned that became, you would think we would know this. You would think that Hal and Lisa would know this, what Lisa said a minute ago. And you would think it wouldn't take this last weekend, after 4.5 years for Lisa and 3.5 for me, to realize how clearly the responsibility that Zalise corporate has for certain things. And it is not marketing at all. They provide materials and support for us, but they have no role whatsoever in sharing these products with the world, none. And so all they do is support us. They create a support staff to answer questions, to deal with bottle problems. They create IT and a back office and an ordering system, which was mentioned, that needs to be simplified and cleaned up. But as far as taking responsibility for training the field leading you guys, sharing the message. That's not their role. It's not set up that way. And so because of that, one of the big takeaways for us is that Lisa and I are kind of reforming how we lead in the field a little bit differently, with a higher expectation of ourselves, but then also a greater expectation of you all and the people you bring in, understanding how much more you have to take personal ownership at whatever level. Obviously, the people at corporate are full-time employees and they're getting paid to be there, right? They're getting paid to do jobs in corporate America because they are corporate America. But we are not. We're volunteer, 1099, subcontracted, self-employed business owners and small scale, packing together with the same product, sharing the same message, building teams and learning and growing together. But, we're still trying to kind of find our way through that, how to do that and do it better and well. But it was really clear on that this weekend. And I think to a lot of people that wasn't clear. And it goes back to what Brian said early in the afternoon, helped us stay on point, which was, his key word that Lisa and I wrote on the board was simplification or simplify. And as we move forward, we feel like we need to have some simplified message for us, for you all, and for ourselves. So anyway, that's just some of the takeaway.
It's going to be coming down the pike,
yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
And one of the things I think we've mentioned that we're putting together a regional training in Evansville on April 1st and 2nd. You guys will be seeing more about that. So thanks to Mary Ellen for helping us put that together.
So, but I want to say a couple of things about that.
Sure.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So we've had meetings in Evansville before on a local share the message scale kind of opportunity thing. And we've had some trainings and so forth. But we're approaching this a bit differently. It may look the same to you, but our intention with it will be a bit different. We're still going to train, but we also want the people that are there to have some time, kind of like we did at the Phoenix Summit in Dallas, where there's an opportunity for people in the field to express together some things, as opposed to just Hal and Lisa coming in for a training kind of thing. We may see a bigger audience there, in the sense we may on Saturday, especially a bigger group. We're still discussing how appropriate it is and how beneficial it might be to bring in some other team leaders from other teams in Zalise that are in that region. And y'all would benefit, and everyone would benefit for working together. And again, this is not a corporate Zalise, Stephen Thompson idea. This is our idea. This is what we are doing on that weekend. And we want to take that to other parts of the country as well. But because, a lot of obvious reasons that most of you know, for Lisa, the kind of the heart of this team is built out of Evansville, where she was, and that region of the country with Kentucky and Missouri and Tennessee a little bit, and but mostly in that heart of Southwest Indiana. Anyway, we want to take that first meeting back there. Plus, we just want to express some gratitude to the leaders for toughing it out for the last couple of years. One more thing I want to say, and I'm not going to yet give credit for this because the person's names have been mentioned too many times, but basically one person that was there, one of our leaders, said to me in the break, he said, Zalise has given us a number of things, and basically they've given us an opportunity. And then he said, whether you retail it, you market it, or whatever, really, they've given us an opportunity. It's up to us what we do with the opportunity that Zalise has given us. And it really boils down to something that simple. They've given us the products, they've given us the support staff, they've given us some materials to work with, but really all that's the opportunity that Zalise Corporate provides. But the real opportunity is what we do with what we have to work with. Team leaders, inspiration from others, that's really boils down to what you do with what's been provided for you, and how you can improve it, make it better, and make it work for you. So really good stuff.
Last shout out. I just wanted to thank everyone who filled out surveys, because that actually was the way they started the Phoenix Mastermind. So your voices have been heard, and they will continue to be heard. But I wanted to just transition right now. One more point I wanted to make was Lisa Hall. I wanted to thank her for doing a very special Zoom meeting one of the things that our job, guys, is filling our funnel and getting the word out, creating distribution for Zalise products. And so Lisa has a real expertise in social media, which is something that is not Zalise's job. And so Lisa did a great 1-hour training for those of us Saturday at 10, and it's posted with video, and the slides are actually posted in the text of the post. So I wanted to say, if you have not seen that, haven't heard it, you definitely, it is worth listening to. Lisa did a phenomenal job with that. It's like how to make $1 million in social media.
It's worth the listen.
It's awesome. Sure. And then I'm going to have Hal talk a little bit more about March Mania before we give our last shout outs.
Yeah, we've got some shout outs. So listen for your shout out.
Listen for your shout out.
So again, March Mania is a very unique thing that corporate Stephen has offered to us, and what we do with the opportunity that they've given us is up to us what we do with it. And for us as leaders, we know how rare this moment is in the sense of what Stephen is offering it this month. And when it boils down to it, what he's offering is for every business builder package that you enroll, whatever it takes to enroll that person in any other month during the year, you get a certain dollar amount paid to you for enrolling a business builder, bronze, silver, or gold. This month, Stephen is doubling that dollar amount, but he's also building in the incentive to build a team, the basic piece of a 4x4, which is 4 people enrolled on your team during a given period of time, which is the month of March. So he's not just saying, hey, I'm going to pay you double for enrolling business builders, but I want to incentivize that and help you really build momentum and long-lasting, income for yourself by actually paying that out when you've enrolled 4 business builders, not just 1. And so, it's like, it's not a situation where he's giving it to you, then taking it away. He's giving it to you, the extra pay for the enrollments, with the idea that you really are trying to build some momentum for yourself, your team, with the 4x4. It's really a very double incentive move on his part. But the second thing that he's done with that is to create for you additional BV for your business volume toward your long-term income in Zalise, not just the upfront sign up. So let's say those 4 people that you enroll early in the month, they too can make the money, extra money on the people they enroll. But because he's also offering extra BV for you, for the people on your team, your next level of pay also increases because of that. And I'm not going to dive deep, and I know we're trying to keep it simple, but I just want you to know that it's not just about, hey, let's enroll more people this month and make more money on the front end. It's let's make more money on the front end, help the new people make more money on the front end, but then also double our pay in the binary payout, which is a part of our business structure. Unfortunately, many of you have no clue what it means to be paid binary because we're just adding them one at a time, very slowly. But I can promise you, if you start working in a month like this toward building momentum and adding people in at bronze, silver, or gold, you create a momentum that begins to pay you every month with the binary growth of your team. And so, again, we're stressing this. We understand it, and you just have to take our word for it that if you're going to get your business cranked up, this is the month to really go for it and do whatever it takes, especially here early in the month.
And we did on Tuesday night a special Zoom that unpacked this, and Hal actually was writing on a whiteboard. So that is also posted on Team Unlimited. So if you want to dive into that, there's a little bit more explanation, but we're going to be hammering this, and we're trying to gear up ourselves as well. But I wanted to just kind of pivot here, and we love watching you guys, and we love seeing the successes that you post and sometimes the challenges. But I wanted to bring Shanika on the line and say, hey, Shanika, what did you do for the first time this weekend? She does not know I'm doing this.
Yeah, we didn't prep her for this call. Thanks, we like surprising her.
So this weekend we did a vendors market here in Abilene, and that was a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun. We have a really great community here. So it was a smaller vendors market. Great for the first time, great little setup, good, consistent, slower flow for a slower market, but we got to interact with a lot of people. We made good contacts. For the size and timing of the market, it was from about 11 to 3 p.m. on Saturday. And one of the things I mentioned to Lisa was that, hey, I felt like way more of our cards were gone than what I remember handing out to the people we interacted with throughout the day. And it was true. And they didn't get windblown. And what I've noticed since yesterday afternoon and throughout the day today, I try to take a social media break on Sundays. You know, I like to go to church and just kind of take it easy on Sundays, is that I've had a lot more interaction and all these unknown followers on Instagram kind of coming along. So we're hopeful. I'll be reaching out to the people that I did get contacts from and that made purchases. So.
And Shanika, you had 2 assistants, as I recall.
I did. My husband, Russ, who you've all seen pop in, who's also a Zalise ambassador, and our daughter, Michaela, who is also a Zalise ambassador. She was gifted that ambassadorship, but her schedule has freed up recently, and she did make a few sales. She lives about 2.5 hours away, and so some of her current clients, she's a certified personal trainer, so she's in the fitness industry, and some of her clients who she works with and does other business with were seeing the posts online and like, what are you doing? What's going on? What is that? And so she took some glow back with her, and she called on her drive back and was like, hey, I have some people who want some coffee. So
that's awesome. So Shanika, for people on the line who don't know your story, can you just tell us briefly just why Zalise for you?
Well, about 6 years ago, I started in with some really funky autoimmune stuff and got wiped out for a while. So I have been looking for relief, and I started using CBD creams just for, achy joints and pains, and reached out to a friend and said, I know where to get some more CBD cream from. And she said, oh, I know a friend who had been involved with Lisa through Zalise. So he linked me up with Lisa. Lisa and I had a great conversation, and she told me about Glow. This was just when Glow was about to launch. And I said, that sounds great. It can't make me feel any worse than what I do. So I started taking Glow when it first came out, and immediately noticed I felt better, probably within the first 10 to 14 days of using the Glow. And within the first couple of months, I felt so much better that my life started to change quite a bit. I returned to work, and I had not worked in about 4 years, almost 4 years. And now I'm working full time and am actually starting my second position at the same company I'm with in 2 months. I went back in January. So at the end of March, I'll be moving to a new, I think, better position. That kind of ties in with Zalise stuff. Of course, I won't be selling Zalise at the job, but I'll be wanting to, because my clients would benefit from it.
And what do you do now? Tell us, Shanika, what is your new job?
I will be working at our mental health authority here in town, and I will be their substance abuse counselor there. So my background is in psychology. I did teaching. I was a psychology professor for many years, about a decade, and have a background in military mental health and substance use disorders.
Well, you just have such a powerful story.
So inspiring, so
Shanika,
beautiful.
every time I see you, you're just so vibrant. You are a bright light. And I'm so proud of you for sharing with Abilene this weekend.
We get reminded
Thank
all
you.
the time, and this is definitely one of those times where we get reminded, you know, at least in this case, large part, why we do what we do, because it's people like you that I mean, this is just why we do what we do. And
it's
so
like heart. It's just,
it's a powerful,
I feel it in my
wonderful,
heart.
and yet great pictures, by the way.
We love your
post.
pictures.
Yeah.
Thank you for
Thank
posting
you.
those.
Right.
That was my social media guru, Michaela.
There you go.
That was awesome. Well, thank you for jumping on and sharing.
Thank you.
Really appreciate you, Shanika. And I'm also wanting to shout out to the Workmeisters, because they were working hard this weekend.
Again.
While we were doing some ballroom dance thing. Workmeisters, are you there?
Yeah. We are.
Tell us what you did this weekend.
Well, we kind of had a glow party. We had actually only Mary Barton ended up showing up, and we had we had call-ins. One of them was in the morning when we were like, where is she? And but she wants to go buy some product from us. And Jean actually, we didn't go unwasted. Jean actually showed the plan. I was going to do it on my deck, but we said, you know what? Jean can do this.
Yeah.
So it's good practice.
Exactly. So we were outside on the deck drinking coffee, and I shared the program. So
there you go.
Yeah.
So,
and then we had another one of our support. They came through, and they're going to actually upgrade probably next month. So that's a bonus for us. And we still got more names and numbers, and we're just going right through. We're just keeping it down. We're not super fast, but you know what? We're still moving forward.
Consistency is the name of the game. And
Yes.
I just was really proud of you guys. Just, you reached out to us and said, hey, I have a question, about upgrading. And that's what, your sponsor or whoever you're working with is there for. But if you guys can't reach them, don't hesitate to reach out and text us, because it warms my heart to see what you guys do when we're not even aware of it. So I wanted to say, good job, you guys.
Thank you.
I was so wanting to cry that whole day, but somebody just ended up coming, and it's like, okay, just go on. Because I was going to be that one calling Mary Ellen, crying, going, okay, we tried. We had people that said, yes, we're definitely. And I'm like going, okay, great. And then Mary, actually, she came early. Yes. We were so proud of her, So,
gifts in hand, goodies in hand.
There's Mary.
There's Mary. That's right.
Yeah.
That big smile.
I need to interject something here, Lori. Not only did I, it was my idea actually to have Jean do it, because
it was.
Yes. He's the one who recruited me, and I knew, I don't know, it just felt right to ask. And watching him do the plan, he makes it look easy. He's so good with people. He's so enthusiastic naturally with it, and it just comes out, and he doesn't miss a beat. He knows how to switch gears, and he's so relaxed when he does it. He might think he looks or feels nervous, but it doesn't come across that way at all. And the whole thing, we figured, okay, this is good training. Then he told me I have to do it next time. I'm like, oh God. the whole thing. We're gonna
hold you to it, Mary.
I got a new perspective though. It dawned on me, because before it was like sales, you got to promote. And I'm like, it's like, I don't want to do that. I can't do that. And then I just realized when Lori and I were talking about different things that we wanted to do, it's just teaching. It is advocating and teaching. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I can do that. That's easy. So it's like, now I have to learn the material better and get over the jitters, because I have a bad case of those. But the whole time they were telling me about, and this whole time I've known them, they keep singing all your praises. I'm not going to name all your names. So I'm not going to shout out all your names. but you know who you are. You know what you've done. You know how good you've been. So thank you for building up my leaders and making it so I'm getting hopeful about really being able to build the business. So thank you.
That is great. And so thank you for sharing that, because that's so edifying to these people who are, you know, loving you and advocating for you and teaching you. And they have worked, Jean and Lorena have worked so hard. I mean, they really, really have. They're so consistent in the efforts that they put forward, and they're growing and expanding the efforts that they're putting forward. They're way out of their comfort zone.
No, they're not. They're good at this.
Well, they're getting better, but
they're building their comfort zone. It keeps expanding with them.
That's right.
Yeah, they're good at this. But the other thing too is I've been getting healthier through this. I had gone through, a lot of you don't know, tick diseases was pushed, prednisone was pushed on me. I was almost a vegetable and all my systems were shutting down. And I couldn't even comprehend what was going on, but to see the turnaround with Lori and to see the healing with Jean too after the car wreck. And then a year later, I got rear-ended. And then I went, all the healing I'd been doing, I had a relapse in my healing, because with tick diseases, that's what happens. And so the clarity, the cognitive abilities, just and physical, just too much. So they've been patient with me. They've been patient with me, knowing that I needed to, that as I healed, that I would be able to do better. And they kept encouraging me on that. And they kept believing I would be able to do that. I would be able to think and talk clearly again. So, and
listen to you.
Right there, but yeah.
No, you're coming across loud and clear, Mary.
Whole sentences, Lisa, whole sentences, paragraphs. And now it's just like, okay, cut it back, you know, a little cut. But anyway, it's exciting to be able to do this. And when you've gone through a real battle to regain your health. And one more thing, I have to make sure everybody knows this, so you can use this if you want to. My specialist told me, do not stop my CBD and my Zalise products, told me to continue that, and we would continue to work and adjust my hormones and things, because my body couldn't produce hormones basically anymore. So this is an autoimmune disease specialist and internalist, and he's top notch in research in the field of tick disease, et cetera. And I think we all give him a hand too.
Yeah.
The doctor,
great validation.
A good man.
Lisa, actually, I did actually see a clear picture, because we haven't been together with Mary, but there's definitely, she's coming back to somebody that I don't think I've ever known, that, you know, in all the clarity and all of that, you know, because between me and then her, and, you know, we're kind of crazy, you know. Yeah, you know, so it was a very good weekend.
Thank you guys so much for
and
sharing.
I got a word. Lisa and I are going to talk about how you described what Jean did, Lorena has done, but especially in his presentation. A couple of words you used, I really like, Mary, and we're going to have a discussion about it after the meeting, because I really think.
Well, then share with me, because I want to know what
I will share with you later.
My word choices.
Yeah, it was really good. The way you described that was really good, and I appreciate it. And I think you're spot on. So we'll get back to you on that later.
They're spot on, and they get that from you guys. You guys have been lifting them up and encouraging them. And as you do that, you're bearing fruit. The seed is multiplying.
So our job, guys, is paying it forward. It truly is. So that's why you're on this call tonight. And we have just really enjoyed hearing your voices. We're going to go ahead and stop the recording and stop talking and listen to you guys. So hold on just one moment.